Hi, and welcome back to this second in a three-part series of mini videos just examining what needs to be in place to support us to do positive risk taking with confidence. I'm the creator of the concept going back to 1994, and whilst I was developing that, I was part of a team. So I was reflecting on and developing a second textbook called Helping Relationships in Mental Health at the time. But it was the work of the team that really helped me to identify what this particular concept was, how it described what I like to think the groundbreaking work that we were doing as a new intensive case management service at the time in the UK, drawing on ideas that were well established in the United States. So in this second video, I want to move on to think what's needed for the confidence of teams. What's needed in terms of team development as far as delivering good practice in positive risk taking is concerned. A number of these reflections will be pretty similar to what I said for the individual practitioner, but it's looking much more at how we then expand that to be more consistent across teams. So certainly the first point is to focus again on this idea of person-centered practice, the idea of drawing in a strengths approach that underpins not just an individual's way of thinking, but is very much part of the ethos across a whole team. So the team leader has a very significant role, but so does everybody else in terms of being able to influence the way a team thinks, the way it thinks about the people it's there to serve, the service users, the carers, the family members, and the way it thinks about its own value base, the way it wants to deliver a type of service. So if there's going to be the challenging area of developing positive risk-taking decisions, then clearly individuals alone are going to struggle if other members of the team are not thinking along similar lines. So this idea of a person-centered approach is vitally important, not just in each individual, but to be really understood and developed as the underpinning ethos of the way the team thinks, the way the team works. So the second one, following on from that idea, is everybody in the team buying into this way of thinking, this way of practicing, so that within those team meetings, those clinical reviews, there is a consensus that everybody is not going to follow just what the lead of one person might be. We do need debate, discussion, but everybody's there to achieve a similar aim, and that is to achieve those good quality risk decisions, which will include risk-averse decisions when that is carefully balanced in terms of all the information that's available, but primarily that everybody is there to debate, challenge, but with the view that we're all wishing for the same outcome, that we want to make the best decisions with people as well as occasionally for people. This collective way of thinking leads me into the third area, which is collective responsibility. Whilst we're individually accountable for delivering our own practice and the areas of a plan that we've said we will personally act on, it's much more important when we're thinking about positive risk taking to think about collective responsibility for the decisions. I've said in other videos that if we are left entirely on our own, personally, to make decisions, if those are challenging decisions, are going to be more risk averse. It's just a natural human tendency. But we've also got to be aware of the maverick leader that takes the whole group in an extreme direction as well. So my argument, based on experience as well as observation, is that small, very focused groups of people within teams or small teams can come to a very clear shared responsibility for making those challenging decisions and making them in a very clear and reasoned way. The fourth idea is the tools, which for individuals, it's the same for teams. It's important that the teams do have access consistently to fit for purpose tools that help to gather that risk and strengths information and help people to formulate the decisions that they're making. Similarly, we'd say for individuals, their support and supervision is important. So I would say equally in teams, it's important that we have an ethos that builds that structure of consistent, good support, good supervision, and that is available to all. And that we include in that the way we use some of the meetings that we're involved in as peer supervision, peer support. Prioritising the time, that will be the sixth idea that I think is important for teams. There's always pressure, too much to do, but we're talking about some of those very difficult, challenging decisions that can't be brushed over quickly. So it's about devoting sufficient time and resources to those particular types of decisions. And staying with the whole idea of the structures that we have, the way we record and monitor this information. Again, that comes back to teams, and I'll review this in organisations as well. Having the kind of systems in place. Team-based systems, not relying entirely on the organisation, but the way teams build their own processes to ensure that they're recording these processes of challenging decision-making, positive risk-taking decisions, and that when those decisions are made, we're clear about how they're going to be very regularly monitored. And last but not least, the systems around training. It's not just the mandatory training that people get sent off on. This is much more about focusing real, creative, flexible training that is there for the team's need and that the whole team train together. In fact, I've recorded in a previous video message here that's bringing the team together and looking at how you use your clinical meetings can sometimes be the best quality training that you'll experience. It is about bringing each of you and respecting each of you in terms of your contributions, your different professional backgrounds, but the knowledge and information that you bring, and respecting that we all share towards that collective responsibility for decisions. Well, on reflection, that's good training. It's probably the best training we get. So there's a range of things that I think is vitally important. We're not just thinking about individuals, we are thinking very much about the team and how it works. So with that in mind, let's encourage everybody in the team and the team ethos to be about helping people to take risks, but for those very important positive outcomes.